little bit more cleared and confident going into game number 2. So that does open up the doorway for Tarzan to, like you said, play things like the Skarner, play things like the Pantheon, if he really wants to go in that direction. As we have finished the bans, and that Pantheon is still open like we talked about. Wonder if BLG just want to give that one over to Shun.
We'll see some of the same focus as well from that game number 1. Do like the Nocturne ban as well. But we'll see if BLG now this time on the red side will change up their prios, or if it's still looking at some of those solo lanes and jungle in the first phase for them, as getting those tools out early is really nice to have. And Annie will be the first pick in the game number 2 draft.
I'm really interested to see what they actually pair with Annie. Traditionally, her best pairing in jungle has been Nefiri, but that's Fearless away. Another good one is Jarvan, but that's banned away. So my eyes are on what Shun is going to lock in as AL insta-slam the Ezreal Bard, the 2 most comfortable champions for both bot lanes, basically. all 4 of these players love these characters. So AL are going to just immediately snag that one up, and I like that they are going in the comfort direction, Mazel.
I really do. And it gives you some safety to play in the bot side, but also gives you at least that roaming possibility that we were still seeing from Kael there. We do get a nice 2v2 duo in the Lucian and Melio, which has been a rising answer to the Ezreals.
All right, so now that we have the Bard locked in immediately, BLG look like they want to be very aggressive, like you said, in the early game. So I would imagine they'll try and pair it up with something that can be very proactive early on, just give that over to Shun. And if that's the case, it's going to be really difficult for Kael to kind of have those movements around, because if you're constantly being shoved in under your turret, if you're constantly threatening a dive of the Ezreal, Bard's movement is going to be significantly more limited compared to what we saw in game number 1 between both of these supports. But your reaction is very appropriate, Mazel, as the Akali is going to be locked in here for Shanks. This is a vintage comfort pick for the man.
This is also just a lot of weight on the shoulders. Got a lot of mechanical execution here. You're going to have a lot of carry potential. A lot of the eyes are going to be on this top trio for AL, and now you have the gauntlet thrown in the mid lane against Knight of all people. But now in the second phase, we already see the Jace banned away by AL.
Yeah, so targeting that top lane pool, I wonder if BLG are going to do the same, or if they're more concerned with, you know, removing some of that global pressure that like a Pantheon would provide, just because that is still open, and neither team seems to be really focusing that down at the current moment. Instead, BLG going to ban away that Vayne. So they might be setting up for Bin to go maybe the Scion potentially, or just another range top. We kind of talked at the beginning of this the series about how much Bin really likes his range tops to split. So I feel like Vayne is kind of a classic counter to that and could maybe lean in that direction. But you're pretty limited on that front. Both Vayne and Jace banned doesn't give you a ton of options. Maybe you go like Varus or something like that.
Still has his Gnar, but we'll see if that ends up being the case. I do like the Lee Sin ban towards Sun, as just trying to take away some playmaking ability from the jungle of BLG. See what the final ban is going to be from BLG, what their final focus is going to be, if it's going to still be towards this top lane, or if they want to try to take away some of the jungle pool as well. The Scion is going to be that ban.
All right, so removing a tanky top laner away from both teams that I think desperately kind of need a frontliner, Mazel, I'm really interested on what the top lane bans are, because we're banning away range top laners, right? So we want to play range ourselves, but we also need tankiness. So Gnar kind of fits that bill. If they go for the Pantheon, I feel like, yes, you secure that global pressure, but Bin should absolutely lock in the Gnar, because it fits exactly what both of these team comps want. It's as much of a denial as it is a commodity for you.
Yeah, and you can find a lot of promise in just like some of that comfort, but as well as the versatility that the Gnar brings to the table here. We'll see what these final picks are going to be looking like for BLG to kind of bring the composition together. I do expect something proactive out of the jungle for Sun. Could see, you know, continuation of some of the comfort we have seen from them. But some giggles going through on BLG's side as we do get the Gnar finally locked in for Bin again.
And now it's just a question of what the golden... Or nope, I see the Annie. So now we're going to see the jungle pick come through here for Shun. I do actually quite like the Poppy, right? You've got a fair amount of mobility. I think this is going to significantly limit what Shanks is capable of doing in the mid to late. So that's going to be locked in. AL now, I mean, you could go for the Cassante if you really wanted to. I think that that's probably the best lane counter that's still open to deal with the Gnar, but, and it also does give you that tankiness, but yeah, this is, so this is a Flandre classic with the Yorick playing on that side lane, which I think is an interesting direction for AL to go in. I think that their team fighting is really weak compared to BLG. So 5v5s are going to be going the way of Bilibili Gaming, but the side lane pressure from AL is pretty strong. I think that this is going to be a draft that significantly highlights kind of the best version of AL, the very macro-oriented team, the one that rotates around and finds these really clever windows to just get and drip feed these resources over to a lot of their lanes. So this feels like an AL draft that can really get that macro started. BLG, though, if it comes to a 5v5, I just feel like are going to steamroll them over. So AL are going to kind of get to a point at around that 15 to 20 minute mark where it's going to be very important. They're going to be at a bit of a crossroads decision-making wise on what they want to do or what they are potentially shoehorned in to do. If BLG lock them into team fighting, they are going to take over this game.
All right, well, we're getting into it now. Remember the stakes. AL still searching for that second pole position going into the playoffs. BLG still in first place, but looking to end on a positive note. They had a crazy chaotic game number one, still came out on top, monumentally so, but AL have adjusted their draft style, going with something that's a little bit more of that side lane orientation and looking for that kind of bar of execution that they've been able to reach here in recency as we head into game number 2 of BLG versus anyone's legend. There was a wild Gnar in that crowd, Quax.
There was, but there's a wild Gnar in Summoner's Rift too, so holy moly, 2 Gnars.
Oh, it's the Storm Raiders Poppy. Oh my God, right. No way. No way. They are cooking too much, I think.
I actually think it's okay in this game because you go Storm Raiders for the stickiness, right? To just like keep yourself on top of a target. AL are fairly mobile and fast moving, so I think that actually has a lot of value to just stick to a lot of the backline AL targets that you're going to be focusing down as this Poppy. Kael!
Like BLG over expecting themselves there. Flash is coming through, and that was just a flat out mistake from BLG's bot lane.
Yeah, going for the 2v2, and immediately we get a pause.
Because that looked weak.
Yep.
It's got to be a 6-game day.
Hopefully. Maybe. I think that would be very fun as we're back to the game. Much shorter pause the second time around.
We didn't have to complain about it this time. We were getting close to it. I could feel it coming, but we didn't have to. And that's a benefit to all. So we get back into it now. Going back to that conversation from game number 1, the Vision game. Already some information being given over to AL with some of those early wards. Yeah,
both wards on the Raptors, so both teams understanding that the junglers are pathing opposite one another. I wonder if that'll open up any windows. As we go back to this replay, so heals expended by both. On is just being whittled down here. Yeah, I don't really think there is much to break down there. Just BLG kind of miscalculating their odds in that, and Hope being way too healthy as well. They were focusing down Kael. The Ezreal was just free hitting that entire time.
That is the flash down for both of them, though, so maybe something Shun can revisit later on. We did see the heal gank coming through. Kael being a good neighbor. He came over and said hi to Shanks, dropped him off some treats. As this matchup early, I'm sure, is very difficult, as we already see Knight putting pressure on Shanks.
Since the introduction of Blackfire Torch, I think there has been a new layer of annoyance given over to range versus melee matchups in the mid lane, because you can just constantly refresh the cycle of that Deathfire Touch burn, and then if you get it for more than 3 seconds, obviously it does the double damage. So Knight is just going to constantly be looking to poke out Shanks in this lane. and it's going to force him to be basically under his tower for a majority of the early game. This opens up for Shun to, you know, look for those deep wards like we saw on the Raptors, and I think this just gives him many more opportunities as we do see the Poppy moving to the bot side.
Spot out the warding here. Viper going for a trade. This time focusing all of his might onto Hope. Gonna dash forward, gonna look for his own kill. Had that campfire right behind him. Oh, Tarzan coming to be the big brother in the situation. We'll be playing with the Fog of War really nicely here. We'll see if they want to try to use this. He's going to back away. Okay, he's going to go back to the Krugs. The movement will be stopped. We will get the redeploy. Both junglers going on their second clears.
I was thinking maybe Kael, he wasn't even level 3 when Tarzan initially showed to the lane, but he got the magical journey there. But they just decided that the tempo was not worth it, and yeah, like you said, back off and continue to clear as well. Viper, like you said, having that flash up also does add an extra layer of difficulty to locking down that Lucian. So I think that AL are smarter to just look to continue a rather cordial early game. Like we said, they love it when the pace of the game is slower for the first 15 minutes. And at least relative in comparison to game number 1, this is slower, Mazel.
At least. Yarn to kill a minute, and that makes me sad. Oh, Bin's got a big body, and he gets stuck in the wall there. Needs to be a bit careful. As Flandre going for the flash play. Does have the ghoul. The ghoul. No! It got a little bit distracted. Maybe some ADHD there, and Ben will survive.
It's a little bit unfortunate for Flandre as well, because he kind of gave up a wave in order to pursue that kill. As, again, just like game number 1, we see 3 people grouping up in mid lane. That's
just how this game goes, especially now that we do have 2 picks in mid lane that are more centered around their kind of individualistic play as well. Knight is level 6, does have the Tibbers combo, does not have his flash, as it does seem like he had to burn that one here. As we take a look at that play, trying to drag Shanks under the turret there. Tibbers also going to be expended in the mid lane as a little bit of push, but bot lane dive potentially? That's a big wave. The wall bang! Shun sets it up and Viper knocks it down. An alley-oop for the ages.
Yeah, and this is what we warned against, right? You pick the Melio Lucian for the 2v2, and now that you've got the Poppy as well, I mean, not really gold dependent, economy dependent, so you don't have to be super concerned about your tempo. Kael constantly roaming opens up so many opportunities for BLG to make plays like that into the bot lane. Hope goes down, kill goes over to Viper, and the wave crashes, so Hope is going to be denied even more resources on top of that. On being a good support as well. He threw up the shield. It doesn't cancel the back, so
yeah, true.
He gets out there, also gets level 6, so really good play there from BLG, punishing the roams from Kael.
He still hasn't burned his summoner spells. Viper is chilling this game as he's able to have a little bit of setup for him on the bot side. Tarzan is going to go for an invade. Shun is moving out. Tarzan does have a bit of a level lead right now. Shun's going to get the bad news. He's going to try to fight this one potentially. Realizes he needs to back away. Doesn't have any movement from either one of his lanes as Shanks does dip into fog. It will be BLG losing a little bit of their top jungle to Tarzan.
Yeah, really good move in there from Tarzan. Has push in top lane as well. Shanks was able to move, so a control of the solo lanes is here for AL around a little less than a minute until the grubs spawn. We saw this in game number 1 where, we waited a little bit to take the first objective, so this gave a trade of the neutrals on the opposite side of the map that was available. So I think we're kind of shaking up to have a similar story the second time around. If BLG want to maybe look for an invade here and then transition that into a dragon, that is a possibility. Tarzan, though, you will be giving grubs over to a champion like Yorick. And we talk about the side lane pressure of AL. That is, terrifying.
Do wonder, though, as we get a potential dive in the top side. Bin not even close to Meganar. Needs to find a way to get away from this precarious position. The CC is just enough. He's going to hop, skip, and jump his way away from the initial fight, and he's fine. Bin is surviving. He's about to get Meganar. If he gets Meganar back, there's no way they pull off this dive. And it looks like they're going to back away. unfortunate for AL, as they did give up other side of the map, as well as giving the dragon over to BLG. And now we get the Meganar play. Ben, though, biting off a little bit more than he could chew. Wanted to try to take down the Maiden. And looks like a little bit of kerfuffle on the top side. Still leads out to AL also getting something.
Well, Shanks is making his way here.
Oh, he has everything. He can find the angle.
Ben has to go for it.
Perfect execution. He's going to look for the kill. He's too tanky, Ben. Shanks doesn't even use the ulti. Okay, he'll use it just in case. Didn't want to go down. Shanks finds the side lane kill onto Ben.
Shanks absolutely needed that kill goal too, because he's giving up basically a wave in mid lane in order to pursue that. So definitely making it worth it, our AL. On top of that, they get the grub. So teams both just kind of going band for band here. Shun is going to look for an invade. Got the Raptors earlier, but Kael was kind of there to dissuade him from going further. But now that they've got movement here from on, he's going to be able to steal away that red buff. So, you know, a little bit of recompense and revenge for, you know, having your Raptors and your red stolen away. The best way to do that and get back at them is to steal their red and Raptors, Mazel.
Is that the nice thing to do?
That's
just make sure everybody's
sage
even.
advice coming from me, you know?
I appreciate that. Now we are getting a little bit closer to our first item, so I want to do a little bit of a check-in on the map state of things here as well, because while we did have the early dragon go over to BLG, there's some serious fighting strength that's going to be coming online for AL, and some of these pick combos can be super potent.
I'm really waiting to see if Tarzan can make a play on the side lanes. He's had access to the Grand Starfall for a little bit now, but just because of the sheer, I guess, proactivity these teams have had to play with around objectives, he hasn't really had time to utilize ultimate to actually impact a side lane. But now we don't have an objective coming up for like 3 minutes, so this is kind of Tarzan's moment to, you know, get that ultimate into some of these side lanes. Ben is trying to push in this wave. That could be an angle for Pantheon to look.
Let's see if they want to find something on the top side. Meanwhile, Viper is just feeling spicy as heck down here in this bot side, just consistently trying to poke and prod onto Hope and find any avenue he can to get more of a lane advantage. That is one of the big advantages that BLG is working with early on into this game. And we have seen Lucians take games by storm here in the LPL.
Yeah, Viper obviously was the big carry for BLG on that Jhin in game number 1. So now being put on an early game pick where, you know, it's always really fun to see Viper on champions like the Kai'Sa, like the Lucian, that can really put forth your mechanical skill and in executions.
Yeah.
I feel like that has always been Viper's greatest strength. Is Tarzan is going to get wall slammed.
Oh.
Nope.
But
Shanks.
it's a 3v2. Shun has to run away. Temper Fate's going to be unleashed. It goes straight onto Knight. Shun is trying to protect him. Now Tarzan's in some trouble. Knight is getting engaged on, but the beautiful keepers, as they steadfast presence rather, is going to keep Shanks from getting the kill there. Perfect execution does get Shanks out for now, but Knight's going to chase him down, and that's an ultra mega fire kick to chase it all down, and Knight gets the kill with the Timbers, as all of a sudden BLG up 1,000 gold early on in this game.
You were saying that Shun is trying to protect Knight. He is absolutely succeeding at protecting Knight. And on the Annie, he thrives. A kill going over to both the Poppy and the Annie at the same time. Really good counterpunch there from BLG. And yeah, highlight to Shun on that, making sure that nobody can get onto his mid laner. And then the Melio coming in with the campfires. We're going to get another replay at this. This is setting up Knight to be so strong in the mid game.
This steadfast presence is disgusting.
I know. Oh, wow. That is, yeah, that's absolutely insane. And the cozy campfires come through. Really well played. This is just, the BLG skirmishing is unparalleled in execution.
Shanks just getting ready to bed. The flash ultra mega fire kick. Oh, on. You just continue to amaze me, man. As BLG, it wasn't just playing around bot side, and now they have first item spikes all across the table here, except for poor Ben. Been a little bit left by his lonesome in the top side, but this is a scary predicament to be in. Another dragon coming up. The momentum fully in favor of BLG. They are trying to take hold of this game and run away with it.
They're trying to look for some type of a dive onto Bin, but he's going to go Mega. Shun is also in the area. Knight pushed the wave in mid. He's going to be freed up. So all of AL,
Knight
maybe they
stopped.
wanted the Annie the whole time.
Starfall. They're trying to catch Knight out. He will be CC locked here. Keeper's verdict is going to go wide. Nice sidestep from Tarzan as it's Hope that gets the kill. Shun's going to run his way away. Bin's going to join him here, though. He might get collapsed on. Flash play comes out from Tarzan. Bin jumps his way away, and Shun just outright kills Kael. The damage done by the Sundered Sky, and Shun 2-0 on his Poppy.
Yeah, Shun gets another kill, but look at the top lane. Bin is zoned away, and Knight actually ended up going down. Really interesting. I don't know if that was their plan the entire time, but they absolutely managed to find a perfectly executed pick onto the golden left hand. As the Annie did go down. Turret as well is going to fall on the top side. So the York making use of those grubs like we said he would, Mazel.
Yeah, I mean, that's so big to have that side lane pressure, and that's something we highlighted from the draft that AL were explicitly drafting for.
Yep.
Now we get back onto the map with BLG, though, and they're going to keep upping the ante here. Another dragon going their way. 35 seconds until the Rift Herald spawns on the other side of the map. They could go for the twofer if they want to, as it does look like they're going to recede into the jungle. Shun's going to go clear his blue side.
Man, he canceled him blind, I'm pretty sure. So that is... yeah, that's on for you. Gets the recall cancel, so Kael gonna be slightly behind on, redeploying onto the map. And like you said, the Herald gonna be up very, very shortly. So, and this is where I think now that the first turret on topside has been taken, we really have to keep our eyes out on this fabled AL macro game, because the split pushing is extremely important for a comp like this, but with 2 dragons being given over to BLG, AL are maybe going to be forced to start grouping. And that's exactly what we said they kind of wanted to avoid being shoehorned into, just because their 5v5 is significantly inferior compared to BLG.
Oh, they're going to set up for this fight as well. TPing in is Shanks. Already 3,000 health down. Keeper verdict is going to boot out Tarzan. It's just Shun in here as he smites away the Rift Herald. He's going to go for the eye as well. Bin comes out of the Tempered Fate and needs to find a way to fight off this advance. Shun's going to give his life. He got everything he came for, but a big shutdown does go to Shanks in the end. They got the objective and a beautiful steal from Shun.
Yeah, I mean, is it really a steal? He booted Tarzan away, so...
This is mine now.
Yeah, it feels more of like a possession
look at the sneaky
at that
play.
point.
Look at the sneaky play. Hope was thinking he had an angle here. Oh my god, that damage, man. The Essence Reaver with the extra damage from the Melio, and now they just get pushed per hour right back.
Yeah, wave is going to crash. Hope, though, not too worried about the couple of autos from the Lucian. We'll be able to pick that one up, but Herald crucially denied from AL, so Flandre going to lose a little bit of his luster as this Omega Man split pushing champion, because he doesn't really have that objective in hand. Even if he wasn't the one to directly pick it up, if another AL member puts Herald on like the bot side, that pulls pressure away from the York to do his thing. So it would have helped AL significantly in the side lane endeavors that we said they really need to continue looking for. And now that being denied does kind of mean it's more difficult for Flandre to effectively apply pressure onto his side lane, because the rest of AL can't really keep up with him in that regard, so they aren't immediately required to be responded to.
Yeah, I think the impressive thing here is that we have seen a little bit of that keep your head above the water here from AL. They found a couple little fights here and there, and I think being able to pick apart some of these side lanes, still get some of this standing gold, will do them well in trying to keep this gold lead manageable. But as you said, we're getting closer and closer to those like big 5-on-5s, and so they need to find picks, and this is how they do it. Finding Bin extended in the side lane with the Grand Starfall. He's about to get Mega Gnar. He's going to try to find his way out of this one. I don't think there's going to be an exit strategy available to him, as he does use the Mega Gnar ult to try to get away. He has the TP, but they have CC. He's going to try to use the Battle Herald. Nope, it's not.
That's Herald wasted too, so that's that's a free lump sum of gold.
Was it an attempt at a Battle Herald, or was it a mistake?
I think it was an attempt to ride the Herald and get out of there, but doesn't end up being able to do so. Hope almost gets taken down. BLG should, you know, for the loss of pressure with the Herald and not being able to get a turret with it, they're going to get a turret in the mid lane. So, you know, making up for it. Baby steps. It was all calculated by Bin. He knew his bot lane was going to get the turret. He was like, I don't really need this anymore.
It's a luxurious life, you know?
Yeah.
Kael caught in transition. Will be okay for now. Does take a huge chunk of his health. As Viper is looking to bite anybody that comes into range, much like a snake. And he's already on 2 items on this Lucian. Really needs to find some impact as we move forward. He's going to be a major damage potential for BLG.
So he's biting, like you said, but, you know, the Melio there gives him the burn, right? With the, so that's like the venom, right?
Yeah.
For a Viper.
True.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So, yeah, BLG, like going into this fight, a lot of the pressure is on Viper to mechanically execute, but he is just set up so nicely to do that.
He really is.
It's going to be very difficult. And AL, besides Shanks, don't really have like a way to immediately get on top of Lucian. So this Poppy pick is extremely valuable for making sure that Viper can just kind of do his thing.
See AL grouped as 5 here. Try to figure out how they want to approach this setup on the dragon. It is soul point for BLG. And they're going to move in now. Culling unleashed on the Hope. Hope immediately arcane shifts away. The damage coming out from Viper is immense. And that's going to be the maiden gone too. So BLG chomp right onto the dragon. It's already almost dead. And that's going to be the TP for the shield from Bin. No hopes of contesting. It's dragon number 3 for Bilibili.
You just can't teamfight against this BLG comp. AL are set up for the side lanes. They're set up to play the map. And unfortunately, I feel like in the early game, the mid game now that we're kind of, you know, panning toward, we haven't seen enough of that. We've seen the turret taken from Flandre, but other than that top lane play for the Yorick, it just doesn't feel like it's enough for AL at this point.
Oh my God, Shun! That was disgusting! Barely clipped him, and now Knight is taking a 1v3 in the mid lane, and he falls to Shanks. As a nice knockup from Shun, finds another wallbang. That's 2 in a row. Oh, double binding there is enough for a moment, but Viper still chases down Kael. The breath of life comes through to give BLG that edge as they move straight on the Flandre. Flandre gets Meganard back. Tarzan goes on the Viper. Viper's getting a little bit low, but he's dashing, and he's able to survive. It's going to be Shun that tanks up a decent amount of shots from Hope. And here comes Shanks getting soloed on the side. No, it's not a solo, but it's a BLG ace nonetheless. 2 alive, still 3 alive for BLG, and it's looking like a clean 2-0 might be coming out.
And Viper is absolutely loving this game, Mazel. He is dancing around in the fights. The BLG protection of the top side is giving him so many opportunities to just free fire in these plays. We get a replay here, and yeah, Knight. So Knight does get found. This is a pretty creative flank. From
he
Shanks
almost gets
as
a
well.
kill back.
He did, but crucial Mikhail's kind of gets AL gets Hope kind of out of that bind. So he manages to live for now. The re-engage from Bin, I really want to see this. So Shanks goes back in, looking for more. And then on the turn here, the stun provides the window. Yeah, just super
Double
good for Bin.
wallop.
And then Viper gets engaged onto. But at this point, it's too late. Like, you're not going to be able to burst him down. You don't have that potential onto this Lucian. Plus, having the Melio by his side almost goes down. But, yeah, Viper just free hitting in these fights. Bin with a killer re-engage. And BLG, like you said, poised to take a 2-0.
What a performance from Viper, too, in a series where we were talking about bot lane, we were talking about On, more specifically than Viper. We were talking about Knight and all of his accolades. It has been a series about Viper, and I'm just going to say outright, I'm so happy this man came back. I'm so happy he's back in the LPL. And it's been so impressive to watch some of these performances he's just able to pull out of a hat sometimes. And it just reminds you that this guy is a literal world champion, and the reason why he is so feared in the LPL and across LCK as well.
And Viper was, you know, thinking back to early at the beginning of even the year when it was announced that he would be on BLG, a lot of people were Excited? I would say the term was cautiously optimistic because of Viper's accolades, like you said, being a world champion and having multiple splits and years of dominance. People had high expectations for this player, but at the same time, you're breaking up the duo of Elk and On, and just kind of how they would synergize was the question. But I feel like Viper has synergized with On super duper nicely. This Lucian Melio lane has really come through for them. And then the most important thing, Viper has been allowed to be himself on this team, right? Where Elk was kind of more of a facilitator for the top side and Viper is more of a carry. Viper has been allowed to carry. He's been allowed to go on the Lucian. He's been allowed to go forward and play his game. And I love that BLG have been willing to give him those opportunities. It's now Knight.
TP. Oh, he doesn't make it. Oh, he's going to die now. He will die a slow and sure death as he did not make it out with the TP. Gets it burned, gets it stopped, and will fall. As they do lose a little bit of that momentum that BLG was holding. AL,
they're Baroning.
About threatening the Baron, okay.
All right, they're going on to Baron. Look at Gnar on the side. He is in Mega. He's going to run out eventually. If AL can stall this out, it's a 4v5, and they've got no solid form of engage.
TP's coming in across. Viper wanting to move in and get some damage down. Dashing back out of the wall there. Flandre gets locked up. Viper takes him down. Big Temper Fate coming in. Kael trying to delay the fight, but that delay might just be in favor of BLG. Tarzan goes down into his death. Finn finds another kill. Shanks is going to falter as well. Hope is the last one there for AL as Kael falls. It's going to be Ben trying to chase down Hope. Hope's really low here, though, and needs to be very careful. It's BLG that started back up the Baron. True Shot Barrage coming across. Is going to get flashed out of by On, just wanting to take away the damage, and Baron secured by Bilibili.
And dragging up his wealth. This will be Soul for BLG. They get everything on the map they could want and more. And Shun, did you like surely you have like IRL experience like shoving kids into lockers because of how insane these wall slams have been. How does he get a good one every single time, Mazel?
Every time, man. And it's like multiple in a single fight too. I mean, Shun, this entire series has been dictated by Shun and Viper. It feels like these guys are just showing up today. The first one was the Vi really setting up the team, trying to dissuade Tarzan's Nefiri, and this one just continuously finding wall bang after wall bang.
Yep, sees the angle. Flandre gets one shot. Really good Tempered Fate here to kind of reset the fight. BLG are able to get their cooldowns, you know, kind of back up. And then they, again, Shun, just, how man? Like, 10-10 is probably loving this series right now.
I know I am, and I'm right here in the front seat. Get to have a good time watching Shun do his thing. About a 2.5K advantage over Tarzan individually, an almost 3K advantage for Viper over Hope. And it just seems like the time is nigh for some big pushes into the base. Baron up still for 1:40, so all the siege potential as BLG are taking some of the standing gold on the turrets in the side lane here as they finally take down the outer turret in the top side.
Yeah, BLG just trying to make the most of this Baron push.
You go, Tarzan. You get those pings.
I mean, you know, kind of looking at this game a little. Oh, hang on. No time.
Nice.
Do that.
The belt does help. He's not able to secure his exit. Shun was thinking about an engage there, but they're just going to keep pushing in the side lane, take another turret in the top side.
All right, so yeah, BLG furthering their control over this game. And I mean, I like the look from Tarzan to use that Grand Starfall to try and get a pick on tonight, but where was this, you know, 15 minutes ago? I feel like we needed to see more action from AL with this Pantheon ult, with the push. Hang on, Knight is potentially found again.
I think they're a little out of sorts now, though, as Shanks was looking for a little bit of an angle there. Okay, we'll see Knight in some trouble. He's got the
Cloud
speed
Soul
with the Cloud Soul, so he's fine for now. I think BLG just wants some kills. They're going to be looking for Shanks now. Oh, God. Shanks. No, he's going to go to the Shroud. Couple more autos for Viper. He's just waiting for the damage to be done. He's going to pop the barrier just to make things worse. And BLG are going to get that reset off.
You said a couple shots. All it took was one. I mean, Viper looked at Shanks and said, "Hasta la vista, baby." Got the kill. And BLG, are looking to put a bow on their final series of the regular season, looking to go 12-2, a dominant split. Every member topping the charts in their role. This is the BLG that we wanted to see going into playoffs. This is the team to beat, and so many are going to have to climb the mountain that they are in order to go forward and try to get to that international spot.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the best, if they win this series, one of the best finishes in the organization's history, just in terms of win potential, and dating back to the 17-team league, obviously.
Yep.
But it's still an impressive feat nonetheless. BLG have been dominant. They've brought international hopes back to the LPL, and they're continuing their domestic dominance. As we were taking a look at the track record for this team across those last few years, it has been one of utmost brilliance, it feels like. A team that is setting a new era in the LPL, and they continue to do so here against AL in their final series.
You know, Ben, you could have at least cracked a smile there, my man. Like, he is laser focused in. A TP just happened right in front of him. Viper!
Dude, he is just feeling himself. Grand Starfall coming in from the flank here. Flash early. Viper just going to dash away. Misses is coming out from Shanks. He was able to get that sidestep there, and Viper is just dodging everything.
Yeah, Viper playing with that confidence, that killer instinct that we associate with him so often. Absolutely love to see it. I wonder if BLG are just going to push these lanes and then say, you know what, there's Baron in a minute. Why not? But if AL can stall out the Baron take, there is also an Elder coming up about 20 to 30 seconds later. So
I don't think that's good news for AL.
I mean, okay, if they can stall it, they might be able to look for a trade. I don't know, man. All right, like, rose-tinted glasses are on for trying to get ways to have AL win this game.
Rose-tinted something. Gonna need all the hopium and copium we can get for AL, as they do seem to be faltering at the last here. Not looking like they'll be able to take that second place going forward, but it's BLG that have made that so. And this is historically a matchup that I really appreciate seeing, because there's a lot of back and forth. That game one was stuff of legend. This one has been a lot slower, but that first game, you could see that AL came in this series with some hopes in their hand, as now that is being dashed. And what else is being dashed is, unfortunately, Kael's life. That's going to be a double knockup for the keeper's verdict as well. Viper has just been untouched this entire time.
Viper.
He's dashing forward. He's looking for the play over the wall. He's going to find another one. He can find more here, too, if they want to try to go for the kill at a Flandre. It's going to be everyone from BLG moving into the base here. Maiden's going to fall. They haven't even taken the turrets yet. They're under the turrets, and Nexus trying to get the kills. Ben's going to make it away. Ben gets the kill in the end. It's going to be a play on a hope, but no CC is there from Knight. They are just signaling the end of the season, signaling the end of AL's hopes for second, and signaling in another reign of dominance for BLG in a regular season. It's the Nexus turrets that only stand between BLG and finishing 12-2 in the split 2 regular season, as Viper continues to pad the numbers. Can he get 10 kills? He wants one more. He's 9-0, but it's BLG that find the 2-0 in the end. It's a little bit of a struggle to get there. He just needs to auto attack it, and the minions are going to help out. GG's BLG.
And now AL going to be thrown into 4th place, but there is no question. There has never been any question. There should be no doubts and no concerns. Who is first? BLG sit at the summit. They own the finish line, Mazel, and they will be the best team in the LPL going into the playoffs.
They are indeed, and somebody everybody should be scared of. We saw hands diffs tonight. We saw macro diffs. We saw maybe some draft diffs. We saw BLG performing at a high, and it wasn't even Knight or Ben that had the most standout performances. It was Shun and Viper, and I think that's so relieving for BLG, just to continuously see the changing of hands of who can carry on this team.
Everyone has carry potential. I mean, a lot of people, I think at the beginning of the split, like highlighted Bin and Shun, and now during the latter half of the split, I think that Viper, Knight have really come forward. But Mazel, there was one thing on BLG that somewhat died this series, and we got to pour one out for it. Knight's KDA, little bit lessened, you know? He's still on top, but not so much so that we can brag about it. Like, we don't get an obligatory
Knight
KDA
last.
tweet, right? Like, the scheduled Knight has 5 billion kills in a game. Like, we don't get that. That's so unfortunate.
Tis. What a shame. What a shame. What truly a shame. Knight, too bad. No. It's hard. It's
Come
hard
on,
when all of a
Knight.
sudden.
Step it
Yeah,
up.
come on, man. What the heck? You already have. Why couldn't you get 5 of the most kills in a game?
I know.
God.
Viper is outshining you. How can you let this happen?
The Lucian
You're smarter
looks
than
scary
this.
though. I love it because we talked about from the draft, like, oh, they have the Ezreal Bard. This is what both bot lanes really like.
Yeah.
Viper and On said, nah, you take that away from us, we'll show you what's up. And yeah, 2v2s early, they did overextend, they did die. But Viper was unkilled. Almost had 10 kills in the game.
Yeah. And the game plan from BLG was really solid to get Viper ahead. I mean, we kind of talked about how when you have a Bard, the biggest thing that he offers is the roaming power, right? And so they said, okay, we see a Bard, we're going to pick a strong 2v2, and we're going to pick a jungler, the Poppy, that loves to dive. And that dive onto Hope, while Kael was roaming to the mid lane, opened the floodgates. Viper, yet again, tops the damage charts for the second game in a row. It's not even close this time around.
Whew. 46,000 damage done on a Lucian. Wow. 44% of his team's damage done. I haven't seen
So
numbers like that
crazy.
since last year, I feel like. What a performance from Viper. Obviously not to be taken down a notch is On right there beside him. Some crucial play from him on the Melio, but we're just going to take a walk down memory lane in what was a BLG controlled game. It felt like from the start.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And I feel like this is just what BLG do, right? This felt like, you know, we were talking about game number 1, how AL were thriving in an environment that was kind of set up to be BLG favored. Well, this was a game where BLG were playing their style and were favored the entire time. They were fighting early, they were fighting actively, they took the ball, they rolled it down a hill, and it just snowballed and ran over AL. All 5 of their members got hit with the big new W generated here by BLG. So, yeah, just this is what happens when you let them play their style and you give them an early lead.
And we saw a lot of these clips, Shun just getting the perfect wall bangs every time, man.
Every time.
Every time.
Shun as a fight starter, as an engage tool, like, was so good. I really love that this guy is thriving. You know, we like to talk about the Shun, the Kindred. We like to talk about the Shun Lee Sin. We like to talk about these big mechanical carries that we know this guy is super good at. But sometimes all it takes is a Poppy. And all it took was a Poppy in that play. I mean, him finding that angle onto Flandre and turning the fight, I actually thought this might have been a moment where AL could have turned the game. If they get that Baron, they could have maybe... We would probably still be going. But it was because of Shun, he shut that down. I know. It's wild.
Teams need to start picking up Poppy situationally a little bit more here. I love LPL Poppy so much. Every one of those flashes were just brutal. And just a little bit of talk for AL. Had some disconnect, but just never really felt like they had a stake in the game, at least in this game number 2. Didn't really feel like they ever had at least stable ground to stand on.
No, it never really did. I feel like we really highlighted the importance of needing to take control of the game early and generate a lot of side lane pressure for your team, because once those team fights started rolling around, BLG just ran them over in 5v5s. Like, AL could never fight them in those team fights. Their comp really just wasn't built for that. So you can say it's draft gap. I think it might be a little bit, because traditionally side lane comps are quite difficult to execute on, but it was also an execution gap. AL just didn't really play to their comp's strengths, and BLG had a much simpler comp, and they played to their strengths a lot better. So they're going to be able to take this series 2-0. Now this means, though, like I said, AL are locked into 4th. BLG are locked into first, as they have been for a while now. But this just now sets the stage for playoffs. Mazel, we're done. Last best of 3 of the spring split. And it was an absolute banger, if I do say so myself. So
didn't go to 3, but I'm still happy.
It didn't.
Still happy.
But
it had some fun games.
I am with you on that. So best of 5s are now beginning. I kind of want to pitch the question over to you. I feel like I haven't asked a lot of questions over to my illustrious play-by-play. How are you feeling about the playoffs going forward?
Oh man, dude, the circle of results is alive and well, and I think it's going to be even more so in the playoffs. I'm really excited for play-ins. I think it's immediate stakes that are really fun to kind of keep an eye on, but I think playoffs is going to be really fun with the double elim, best of 5s, especially with the meta that we've been seeing from a lot of our LPL teams. I'm obviously very excited to see JDG, the likes of TES in those playoffs as well as we get further down the line. But I'm really curious to see what the Nirvana versus Group Ascend matchups are going to be having for us. And let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here so we can see how things kind of panned out across the board. Obviously, we'll have those group setups for the play-ins coming through, with the bottom 4 of Group Ascend facing off against the top 4 of Group Nirvana. But this is it. This is the final standings of the regular season here in spring. BLG first place, JDG second, Top Esports end up third, as we do see those top 3 there. And then those 4 teams from Group Nirvana that'll be joining those bottom 4 teams from Group Ascend, LNG, TT, LGD, and EDG, facing off against NIP, Weibo, IG, and WE. So go ahead and take a look at what the preview is going to be looking like as we move into playoffs.
Yep, the hype is real. The tension is starting to mount now that we are done with the regular season, and I could not be more excited, Mazel. I am so looking forward to those best of 5s. I will say, I think that a lot of people assume that there is I mean, rightfully so, a lot of people usually think that there is a pretty big gap between top 4 and bottom 4, just generally in any sort of regular league. But I mean, IG are taking games off of JDG. Like,
NIP is a crazy story so far this split.
NIP have been 2-0ing. NIP have 2-0'd BLG. Like, these bottom 4 teams, and I'll even throw in WE there. You know what? Let's get everyone involved in the hype train. Even though the series score looks grim for them, I think that it is probably they got some games, and they definitely look better in the latter half of the split than they did in the first half. The first half, there was no life. It was like a barren wasteland. But the second time around, like the you know, the kind of the repeat series, once those started coming through, WE looked a little bit better. So I am interested to see what kind of happens to them, given that, like you said, they are going to be kind of, you know, fighting for a spot to remain in Ascend for Split 3. But they have shown fight, I think, and especially in their most recent series. Every team, my point being, has shown fight, and that just makes the playoffs super fun, because you never know who's going to come out on top, right? Anything could happen, and best of 5s are the ultimate tell.
And that's the beautiful part about it here. Any final thoughts before I start taking us off into the sunset for the regular season here, Quax?
BLG are on top, and they're gonna be the team to beat. They are the final bosses of the LPL. Have been for so long. I'm just interested to see what teams can take games off of them, or if maybe a team will be lucky enough to take a best of 5 against them.
That's going to be crazy. I cannot wait till best of 5s. Please, please, please inject it directly into my veins. Thank you, everyone, for an incredible regular season. It has been incredible to watch all the support continue for a second year in a row for LPL English. Before we start bidding our adieus, though, we got to give a special big shout out to our Elite Coffee supporters here, Aaron Soup and Mung. As if you want to support the LPL, the best way you can is through our coffee, and the best way of the coffee options is to become an Elite Coffee supporter. So please go check that out. Please go see any of the interviews, any of the content that we do have releasing on our channels. You'll be able to get access to that a little bit earlier. But just more importantly, thank you all so much for the continued support for a project that is entirely run off of so many volunteers that make this a daily effort. We are going to be taking a short little break while we get ready for play-ins. There'll be a couple extra days until that will be kicking off, but rest assured we will have tons of action, as we will have double best of 5s per day for the play-ins. It's going to be a lot of League of Legends to be watching, so make sure you tune on in Thank you all so much for everything you do to help support the LPL English community. And thank you to everyone that's been a part of this project for the regular season. And we'll see you in play.